was looking at this Associated Press story about Donald Trump and some of the people he's considering now for key posts, and it occurs to me that some Christians are liable to be upset with some of these decisions that he may make. And this is going to be a very important issue, and I've talked about managing expectations already, and so I want to talk a little bit about this. As Christians, what we should expect versus what we should not expect. I want to give you realistic predictions from Donald Trump as president, and why, as Christians, I think we should be okay with this, right? First of all, as you know, he has already named 2 people to his key positions so far. Actually, he has about 4,000 people to name to various positions and posts. About 4,000. He's just named 2 at this point. He's getting ready to start naming a whole bunch more, and there's probably going to be about 20 to 25 key positions that he names. About 20 to 25, and those are going to be key. So far, what we've got is, as I talked about in the news hour, Steve Bannon, the former head of Breitbart News, to be his senior counselor, kind of a key advisor in the White House. You then have Reince Priebus, the chairman of the Republican Party, who will be his chief of staff in the White House. Okay, so he took an establishment guy in Reince Priebus, and he took a right-wing Tea Party friendly kind of guy in Steve Bannon. So there's a couple that he's done so far. And of course, you have some conservatives and some Tea Partiers who are very angry with Trump, looking at him naming Reince Priebus, saying, here we go, Trump is selling it. Was it Mark Levin, the radio host, said, what, did Jeb Bush win the election? It's like Jeb Bush won the election. Reince Priebus is his chief of staff? Okay. Well, I would say to Levin, and I would say this to all the other conservative and Tea Party-minded people or whatever, quit setting unrealistic expectations on Donald Trump. You're only setting yourself up for disappointment. He's going to name some centrist moderates. He's going to reach across the aisle. He's going to name some gay people. He's going to, this is what he's got. I wouldn't be a bit surprised if Donald Trump didn't name a Muslim into a key position somewhere in his administration. I expect him to do this, but I expect that the majority of people that he names is going to be good, solid conservatives. And the minority of people he names are going to be people reaching across the aisle, the centrists, the moderates, or the liberals, or gays, or Muslims, or whatever. This is what I anticipate him doing, and even maybe a couple of pro-abortion Planned Parenthood supporters to boot, right? He's going to supplement the core of his administration with some of these people. And what I'm telling you, folks, is I actually think that's smart on his part. It is smart. It's being wise, okay? Because if he only names a bunch of conservative evangelical Christians and Tea Partiers, and that's it, what he will do is further the perception that he is all about exclusion, and the Republican Party is all about exclusion, and we don't believe in inclusion. You see, folks, Republicans have to work by a different set of standards than Democrats do. Barack Obama gets in the White House. Barack Obama can surround himself with a bunch of hardcore leftists. He didn't have to surround himself with any conservatives. He didn't have to surround himself with any evangelical Christians. He didn't have to surround himself with any Tea Party conservatives. He didn't have to do any of that. Barack Obama can say, I'm going to surround myself with like-minded people, and nobody in the press is going to say, hey, you're not being inclusive. Nobody's going to hold him to that. But Republicans are held to a different standard. We have to play the inclusion game. If we don't, then it just further perpetuates the perception that we're all a bunch of exclusionary bigots. So this is strategically smart on Donald Trump's part. I wouldn't have a problem if Ted Cruz did something like this, and I don't have a problem with Donald Trump doing this either. Now, he hasn't named any gay people yet. He hasn't named any pro-abortion people yet. He hasn't named any Muslims yet. He hasn't named, any of these people. He hasn't named any Democrats yet. But what I'm telling you is I'm planning on him doing that. Now, where I would have a problem with Donald Trump is if homosexuals or lesbians or Muslims or pro-abortion people or Democrats, okay, if they became the majority of his administration and conservatives ended up becoming the minority, then you better believe I would have a problem with that. And I would absolutely call Trump on the carpet and say, wow, what a disappointment. But as long as conservatives are the majority in the core of his administration, let him put in there the token Democrat or two, the token homosexual or two, the token Muslim or two, the token pro-abortion person or two. Let him do that. That's exercising wisdom. Because it takes, it completely disarms the critics in the media who want to point the finger and go, look how exclusionary he, oh, well, I guess he's not. Look how anti-gay, oh, well, he named a homosexual. Okay, well, yeah, but look how anti-woman, oh, okay, well, look at all those women in key leadership roles. Okay, well, look at how anti-Muslim, oh, that's a Muslim he named in there? All right, well, look what a homophobe, oh, he named an open homosexual to that position? Okay, folks, this is smart on Trump's part. And he hasn't even done it yet. What I'm telling you, folks, is prepare for this. And don't do the Mike Levin thing of, I expect Donald Trump to name every single position, to be a hardcore purist conservative. It's not realistic. He won't be able to get done what he needs to get done. He won't be able to get things accomplished that he needs to get accomplished. He's got to get Republicans to work with him, and he's got to get Democrats to work with him. And, as crazy as this sounds, he's got to get the media to be willing to at least soften a little bit their jihad against Donald Trump. He has to disarm the media from the accusations of him being exclusionary. He has to disarm the media, and he has to disarm the Democrats, and he has to try to reach across the aisle in some way and give them some marbles too. Ronald Reagan did this, folks. It's smart. And so I'm okay with Donald Trump doing it. So with that said, that brings me to this Associated Press article, which is kind of interesting. I'll read it to you and I'll share it with you next couple minutes from now here on the Bob Dutko Show.